What we'll do for the last round, colleagues, if it's okay with you, we have 12 minutes left, so we'll give all parties 3 minutes. I'll turn the floor over to you, Mr. Morrison.
Thank you, Chair. And my first question is going to be for Mr. Ness. And I was really happy to hear you talking about proactive investment. I mean, we can go to the Sumas floods where $1 billion damaged when the dikes didn't survive, and that was predicted. Now, I have a unique problem in my riding as well, the Columbia River Basin, which supports over 600 hydroelectric dams. Part of the dam system goes down into the United States, comes back up into Canada. Where it comes back up into Canada is a Kootenay River system, and the Kootenay River Kootenay River dikes are failing, and we know that, we're predicting it. Yet it's really hard to get the federal government to look at proactive investment. We always are reacting, and it costs us significantly more money. I'm just wondering if you can just give me an example of how we can stress the importance of proactive investment over reactive.
Thank you for the question. Through you, Mr. Chair. Certainly, I think those kinds of examples, that the dikes for flood protection that have been so much the subject of conversation lately, when they are allowed to degrade, when they're not maintained to the level of service, to the level of protection that they've been were originally designed to provide, we see the consequences of them not doing their job during a major flood event. The cost of upgrading and maintaining those dikes would almost certainly have been a fraction of the cost of the damage that resulted. And we see this over and over again in all kinds of disasters. We could have foreseen where it would have been impacted, as the Insurance Bureau of Canada mentioned in earlier testimony. Most of the flood risk in this country is concentrated in sort of the top few percent of homes that are at flood risk. So, a relatively small investment to protect or perhaps relocate those homes would deliver major benefits in terms of reducing the flood damage that those homeowners and then the Canadian economy as a whole have to bear.
Thanks very much. And my last question is for Mr. Nielsen, TransLink. And I am a TransLink user whenever I'm in Vancouver, so you have a very good system there. But the problem to me, being from rural British Columbia, rural Canada, is we are certainly putting a lot of investments in urban areas, but our rural communities have opportunities as well. For example, we have a fairly good train system, and so we can actually go to electric trains, but it's really hard to get noticed, I guess, when we're focusing so much on urban. So I'm wondering, being from TransLake, Lower Mainland, I understand, how can we make our government, say federal, more aware of the needs in the rural communities as well, where we have distance challenges and weather challenges and that? Thank you.
Excellent question. So through the chair, I think the Lower Mainland, inclusive of the entire Fraser Valley, needs to be looked at as a system, as a watershed, right? If we take a watershed view, what happened in terms of our flooding several years ago could have happened right in the hearts of our urban populations as well. So the importance of the Lower Mainland flood strategy across the entire system, what we do in one part of that overall watershed for diking or improving or taking back orphan dikes or making them seismic resilience, is really, really important.
Thank you, Mr. Nielsen. It can't just
be one body doing that. So I think the federal government has a role in that regard.
Thank you, Mr. Nielsen, and thank you, Mr. Morrison. Next, we have Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, 3 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Try to do the best we can in 3 minutes.